Welcome to Building Fortunes Radio. Make sure you check us out at buildingfortunesradio.com. Along with our marketing partners, we're here to help our PM Marketing Network Lead customers build their businesses and make the world a better place. At Building Fortunes, we know how much your business means to you and the people important to you. So spread the word, tell a friend, join our newsletter, and go make a difference in your world. Now on to our show with your host, Peter Mingils.
Hello, everyone. Peter Mingils here. You're listening to us on Building Fortunes Radio. It's www.buildingfortunesradio.com. For anybody that might be unfamiliar with my voice, my name is Peter Mingils. We host this radio show with a great friend of ours. His name is Coach Gaymon. Matter of fact, he's even got a domain name by the same. If you go to CoachGaymon.com, you'll be able to hear this as well as the previous radio shows that we've done. So again, CoachGaymon.com. Now, we do this radio show on Mondays right around 1 p.m.-ish, if you will, Eastern Time, and we talk about different and various things that Coach Gaymon is involved in, and one of the things that he's been involved in is a home-based business for decades. It's probably been, I know it's more than 3, it might even be as many as 4 decades that he's been doing home-based businesses, and he's hit it out of the park many times with home businesses and has basically been a home-based business evangelist ever since. So we are here to talk about whatever we're going to talk about on a Monday. It's March, believe it or not, it's already March 10th, 3 months into the year. If you set some goals at the beginning of the year, you're either ahead or behind. And I know a lot of people are probably want to catch it up. So let's get with it. So thanks, Coach Gaymon, for being here on Building Fortunes Radio.
Okay, Peter, thanks a lot for that introduction. I've been in the home-based business. I'm Coach Gaymon. I've been in the home-based business for several decades now. And I really think all of these years bring us to this point where I can really share some things based on starting out a person's home-based business that's going to help them in this time of panic that I see a lot of people going through. I'm right here in Washington, D.C., so I'm really kind of in the eye of the storm as far as, people getting laid off from their jobs and the way DOGE is, cutting back people with their long-term, employment in the government. So I want to assure people that I know there's a lot of consternation and panic, but if we just think about it and keep our heads, there's really, in my opinion, a very reasonable and logical way to move forward without falling behind in these turbulent times. And that way, in my opinion, is to establish your own home-based business. Many people, in this country, we have been trained to be workers and not to be entrepreneurs. And I think it's at the point now where entrepreneurship is going to be the biggest way, in my opinion, in the future as far as employment is concerned, because the government is cutting back on all of this waste and extra people for a reason. And that's because we're in such a steep budget deficit that I've heard really huge numbers as far as our deficit. Some people estimated our deficit is at $32 trillion. I've even heard that doubled. Just imagine if we tried to run our homes on that premise of being in the red and not in the black. How many marriages would not make it if that were the case, if we were running on a deficit? I've never seen in any other sector of our economy that we have actually been running on a deficit and borrowing from other countries to make our economy work for us this long. I think we're really fortunate that it's gone this long, by being behind. But everything must come to an end, and I think that's where we're at now. And for either fortunately or unfortunately, there's a person that we call our president that is willing to put, as Truman said, the buck stops here. And I hope by all of this tightening of the budget and this austerity period that we're going through, that it will be for the good and not just, some kind of game that the people at the top are playing. So I'm really hopeful that this will correct some of the misdeeds that were done in the past, so that our government is on a firmer footing, and that because the bottom line is because we live in such a great country, we all want this, things to work for the betterment of all. So I'm very hopeful that this will happen. And my contribution is to share this information about a home-based business. I would suggest to everybody to start, putting a lot of attention into going forward as a home-based business, because as soon as you establish a business for a few $100s, not thousands, and as in the past, traditionally in the past before the internet and the tools that we have today, people would have to borrow thousands and thousands of dollars from the bank, which would, that would put a person in the hole from the very beginning to have such a big outlay to have to overcome before you start to, move forth and profit. And that's why most businesses do not work. But that doesn't happen in the business that I've been in most of my adult life, which is the home-based business, because a few $100, in this case, which I'm going to share with you, the company I'm involved with today, it's just been less than $200 to get established, and that payment alone, to start your business, as you'll learn if you move in this direction, that is a write-off against your income that you may be having now. You'll start to see certain write-offs that you get as a home-based business. Everything that you practically do concerning your business is a write-off against your income, which reduces your tax bill from year to year. And as you know, that we are fast approaching the tax season now. So it's very simple to establish yourself as a home-based business. I established mine years ago as a home-based business around health and wellness, because I believe your health is your true wealth. So why not only keep yourself healthy, but also establish an income while you're becoming healthy as well. And that's exactly what I did. A few years ago, I ran into a company called Engage Global. Engage Global has some fantastic health products that worked extremely well in an amazing short period of time for me. I was suffering at that time. I wasn't looking for a business per se at that time, because I'm virtually retired. But because of the way the products, the products themselves sold me on establishing a business as well, because I have a problem of glaucoma. And I've been looking for years for a solution to my problems. I was having burning of the eyes, watering, just a whole lot of things were going wrong with my eyes, because I have inherited glaucoma. It's just a hereditary thing. And so when I got involved, somebody told me, I could get some relief with these Engage Global products, because Dr. Prasad, which is the world's first PhD in biological radiation, had established these micronutrients that could go through the blood barrier and go right into the areas that the body was suffering is weakness. In other words, it would go right to the weaknesses in the body. And so I decided that I would try these products in a week or so. First of all, I got this big burst of energy, and it wasn't false energy. It was the energy coming from the purest nutrients that I could put in, that Dr. saw it put together that I could put into my body. And I noticed a very sharp increase in my energy levels. My eyes started to settle down, the watering started, the burning started. Another significant thing was that I was having neuropathy in 10 toes. In other words, numbness across all 10 toes. And in a little while, that had was relieved, and the circulation got better in my feet. So these things started to occur in a short period of time because, like I said, that micronutrient, those nutrients that were so small, they were getting right through the brain, through the blood barrier, going right into the system, into the organs that I needed that help. So from there, I started looking at the financial side of it, and I saw that by just establishing 3 other affiliates like myself to go forth as a business, that in a little while I would be at the break-even point, and these products would not even be costing me with my monthly subscription. They were overcome by establishing myself with 3 other affiliates because the company pays us to share the news of these nutrients to others. And so in a little while, I was at the break-even point, and then from there, within a month or so, I was at the profitable side of the business, and it's been that way for 3 years. So the company is actually paying me to remain healthy by sharing this news that I'm sharing with you now. That's how I derived my income, by just sharing the information of these great products with others. And it's on a residual basis because you establish yourself for, like I said, for a couple of $100 by being in business. And from month to month, you get, not only do you get initial commissions on everybody that you establish their subscription with, but you get residuals from month to month to month. And this grows and exponentially grows over time. So I encourage everybody to start looking, in your consternation about losing jobs and that kind of thing, and tightening your budget. Start looking at what a home-based business will do, not only for you, but your family and for your friends. So with that being said, Peter, let's see what you have to say about a home-based business.
I have plenty. Why don't we take our little commercial break first, and then we're going to come back. You're listening to Coach Gaymon. My name is Peter Mingils, and Coach Gaymon's got this great radio show. If you go to CoachGaymon.com, you'll be able to hear this as well as the previous ones, and we'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to Building Fortunes Radio. If you sell a product or service, then you should check out PM Marketing's NetworkLeads.com. Just visit www.networkleads.com. For over 18 years, PM Marketing has helped distributors build their home-based businesses through lead generation, website development, automated email delivery systems, and sales training. If you're looking for a way to increase your skills and increase the number of people that see your product or opportunity, NetworkLeads.com can help. To learn more, visit www.networkleads.com. Ask about their lead management system, capture pages, personalized websites, MLM training, humongous blogs, the humongous classified ad network, Building Fortunes Radio, or their webinar schedule. NetworkLeads.com can be your one-stop shop for everything you need. And now, back to our show.
And we're back. Peter Mingils here with Coach Gaymon, and we're talking about home-based businesses. And I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about my philosophy and some of the things that I had learned along the way. One of the things that I learned was a young gentleman. When I graduated from college, I was supposed to be a doctor. I was a pre-med major, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and I wound up opening up a newspaper. That's what people used to do back then, looking for a job, and wound up looking for a manager trainee job. Didn't realize it was going to be with a vacuum cleaner company, otherwise I would have prejudged, and wound up being with a company called Electrolux, and I started a management training program. The only reason why I give you that is because the managers that I had were really great people. And they told me that I have to invest in myself. And that was weird because nobody in my college ever said, you got to work on your brain, you got to start investing in yourself. They just taught me stuff that I could regurgitate on a test. In biology, you just basically take a textbook, squeeze it between your ears, and you regurgitate it. In chemistry, you more or less do the same thing. And one thing led to another, and I wound up stumbling upon a guy named Brian Tracy. Now, he's older now and probably less prominent. I'm sure he's still alive, but he's not the same guy that he was when I was in my earlier years, early 20s, and this was in the 1980s. But he talked about responsibility. And he says, you know, you are responsible. He used to actually, one of his affirmations was, I am responsible. I am responsible. I am responsible. Another thing that I heard from another motivational speaker was, you know, you are where you are in the position that you're at based on the decisions you've made over the last 3 to 5 years. So I'm real big on questioning stuff. So it's really easy to reverse engineer. And you go back and you say, is that true? Am I where I am today based on the decisions that I've made over the last 3 to 5 years? And I could bet you could probably figure out that you are responsible for a lot of the things. So relative to that and home-based businesses in Washington, D.C., a lot of people in Washington, D.C. put their security in a job. And the job was the security of the government. And guess what? That may not be secure anymore. So if you're responsible and you're listening to this, you're saying, I am responsible. I am responsible. You're responsible for what? Your personal health. No one cares about your health more than you do. And maybe your parents or maybe your kids. But the reality is no one is responsible for your health other than you. And whatever cards you're dealt, like myself and Coach Gaymon, we're dealt with the genetic cards of glaucoma. I can't fix my genes, not at least at this stage. And maybe AI is going to be able to fix my genes, or maybe gene splicing is going to be able to fix my genes, but I don't know if I'm going to be long enough around for that to happen. So we manage it. You know, your job, your career, where you live, your limitations, all this sort of stuff, you are responsible. So in essence, when I look at a home-based business, I'd say, you know what? I am responsible. I'm responsible for the one that I choose, the products that I take, the changes, because, right, Spencer Johnson says, who moved my cheese? Cheese is going to move. That's one thing that's guaranteed. So don't think the one that you're with is going to be the one you're going to be with 20 years from now. Who knows what's going to go on with the world? But the best that you can do is be responsible. And that means get your own gig going on responsibly is the best way you can possibly do it. Like Coach Gaymon said, once you join, if you get 3 or a few more people, your business is free. And you get the tax write-offs, and you get all the health benefits, and you'll get the learning that will happen as a result of being in that bubble. Just like Washington, D.C. is a bubble. It's not like the rest of the world. There's nothing like Washington, D.C. because of the bubble of the government and everything that, you know, ripples from that. But the reality is that's what I have to say about this home-based business thing. And Coach, I'll let you comment on anything that I just mentioned.
Yeah, that's really the sum total of it, Peter. That it's all about responsibility, and I found out that was my natural predilection when I was a kid, because I came from an entrepreneurial family, and it was just natural that, you know, I would be in business not only with my family at that time, but for myself, and I've never regretted that, because, you know, I've heard long ago that people who were working a job, the most dreaded part of their week would be that Monday after that weekend. They were having such a good time, and people now, they had to think about, you know, putting on that hat to go to work, and just think about what work is. We say a job is jumping over bumps, but I always saw it as a way for people to have their control of me. You know, I mean, you know, being a grown person, I couldn't imagine me having another person my age or younger telling me when I could go to the bathroom, how long to stay, when to come out, and these kind of things. I thought it was very insulting for me to put myself in that situation. So it was just natural that I would go into business. But I didn't really understand the power of what business really had to offer until I was given the concept of network marketing, you know, and it was in a very simple way that it was explained to me. It was mathematical. It made a lot of mathematical sense, because the person asked me, if I gave you $10,000 in this hand a penny in the other hand that doubled every day for 31 days, which one would you take? Well, thinking that, this was a trick question, I said, I'll take the penny. And, of course, we all know by now that if that penny doubles every day for 31 days, on the 30th day it's $5 million, and the next day it doubles to $10 million. That, to me, made all the sense in the world, because the 40-year plan that used to be in effect at that time, which no longer exists, as Peter said. Who thinks that they can be on any one job for 40 years in the day's world today? None of us think that way. As a matter of fact, just as Peter said, we live in a gig society. That means that, the companies don't want to bear the responsibility of, paying you long after you've retired. It's still having to pay you, certain monies that you, at that time, they said you were guaranteed. No, to me, that's really a long obligation that I would want to, as a company, I would want to do that for long term either, because, once you make money in the normal business, it's a one and done. But these companies were trapped into paying people their retirements for years and years and years, long after they had retired. So we live in a different world. We have to have a different way of thinking now. And like Peter and I are saying, the best way to move to this new world is to put on that hat of entrepreneurship, and especially that one of network marketing. Not only do I was just thinking, my customers, because I'm in the health and wellness industry, my customers are everywhere. I was speaking to a couple of people last week over the phone, and I noticed certain people that I needed services from, like the phone people and different people. They were all coming to the phone with these coughs. I could tell that they were congested. Three or four of them were congested. That's because we're in the flu season right now. And they said this is one of the worst flu seasons in the last decade or so. And by this across sampling of just talking to people last week, I could tell that this was true. I went shopping to Costco last week, and because of my eyes, I always get someone to help me shop, especially this lady named Miss Rosie. Miss Rosie, she was congested. And what did I do? I always keep a card with me with who Dr. Prasad is, the microdaily nutrients from Engage Global. And I said, look, take a look at this and, and give me a call, because you're terribly congested. You don't need to be around these people, these hundreds of people daily. You're getting affected daily, and obviously your immune system can't handle this. That's why you're coughing and you're choked up now. And she said, yes, I'll be calling you right away. So my customers are everywhere. Another business that I have recently joined, which is really trending at this time that people need to know about, is the cryptocurrency industry. This is the new way of money. The old way is going out. Fiat money, which is paper money, is obsolete. It's not doing the job. And so cryptocurrency, I'm with a company called BizNet College. Now, in the old days, when people were going into the gold rush out west, they say that the people that made the money weren't the people that were digging holes for the gold. It was the people that were selling picks, shovels, and axes to those people that were digging those holes. Likewise, BizNet College is the same concept. We are on the educational side of the cryptocurrency because most people have heard about it. They've heard of the success of Bitcoin, but most people, 98% of the world population, don't know how to access it, get involved with it, or know how to use it. So BizNet College serves that purpose of being the picks and shovels that people would need to be on the right side of cryptocurrency. If you want to take a look at that, my site, you can go to coachgaymon.biznet.org, coachgaymon.biznet.org. buildingfortunesradio.org, because that is going to be the wave of the future. It's something that we shouldn't put our heads in the sand and pretend that it doesn't exist. It does exist. There are countries, whole countries that are using that as their primary currency now. So we need to move in those directions as well. So again, to sum everything up, folks, take a look at CoachGaymon.com to look at my health business, which is Engage Global. Go there, take a look at our products, see what we're doing. We give you a free download, and also look at our cryptocurrency site, which is CoachGaymon.biznet.org. Let me back that up again. That's CoachGaymon.biznet.pro. I'm sorry. So take a look at those sites and give us a call. If you want to chat about it, call me at 240-524-2486. With that being said, Peter, let's sum it up.
Excellent. Well, thanks everybody for listening in. You're listening to Building Fortunes Radio. This is the Coach Gaymon Radio Show. If you go to CoachGaymon.com, you'll be able to see this radio show again. And on BuildingFortunesRadio.com, when you see this, we'll make sure you have all of the links that you need to take a look at this stuff. But most importantly, you know, when you get a guy like Coach Gaymon, super experienced, willing to help a lot of other people, take advantage of that. That's one of the things that I did when I was younger. I took advantage from people that do the deal, not to people that talk about the deal, not people that talk trash about the deal. I talk to people that live it. Those are the best people to be able to give me the best education and have, you know, my best interest in it as well. So I was listening to Brian Tracy and listening to other motivational and sales-related trainers and people like Jim Rohn. And some of you that are older might be familiar with these names. And there's a lot of newer gurus that are out there that aren't as good. But if you listen to some of those old-timers, Earl Nightingale, you'll kind of get your mind straight. Once you get your head straight, remember, you are the sum of the decisions that you've made over the last 3 to 5 years. So make a decision today to start that process and call Coach Gaymon and work with him in the different and various programs he's with. It'll help you with your health, your wealth, your well-being, your philosophy, who knows what else. So thanks for listening in, and we'll speak to you next time on Building Fortunes Radio. Thanks, Coach Gaymon.
Thanks, everybody.
You've been listening to Building Fortunes Radio on BuildingFortunesRadio.com. Thanks for listening. Be sure to check us out every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time for the designated Building Fortunes Radio segment with Peter Mingils. Be sure to check out the BuildingFortunesRadio.com website for our featured segments. It's been our privilege to have you listen in. At Building Fortunes Radio, we wish you the success you deserve and are willing to work for. So spread the word, tell a friend, join our newsletter, and go make a difference in your world.